Hi, welcome to the very first tutorial of learning Ruby on Rails. In this tutorial, we'll see what is Ruby language, how to install it, what is Ruby version manager, and how we can have more than one versions of Ruby in our system. We'll also learn what is Ruby gem, what is Rails and how to set up your Rails application, and which text editor to use in order to write code in Ruby. I'm Hamid Ali, and I welcome you again on this epic journey of writing code in Ruby. Now, what is Ruby? Ruby is a dynamic, interpreted, reflective, object-oriented, general-purpose programming language. It was designed and developed in mid-90s by Yukihiro Matsumoto in Japan. Ruby language is mostly influenced by Perl, Smalltalk, Eiffel, Ada, and Lisp. Ruby is to Rails as PHP is to Symfony and Zend, or as Python is to Django. I am using Linux Ubuntu 16.04, which is long-term support distro of Debian. Now let's install Ruby, but let me first update my packages so that we get the latest versions of Ruby. Sudo apt get update, enter. Now, as we have our packages updated, we are ready to install Ruby. Sudo apt get install Ruby full. Press Y. Okay, the Ruby programming language is split in many small different packages. Installing this package will make sure you have all the packages that add up to full Ruby installation. Before we proceed, let me check if I have already installed Ruby. Ruby version, and it is saying Ruby is currently not installed. So let me just copy it and paste it using my shortkeys. And now if we check Ruby version, it is showing us the correct one. You must be wondering why my terminal looks like this. You can also do this in your terminal. Now in order to do this, write command sudo nano bash profile. You see the file directory? Now what I want you to do is, after watching this video, you go and Google PS1. Let's change the text here to welcome. Oops, by mistake. Save the file. You see no change here because this file gets loaded when you open your terminal. Now, one way to load this configuration is to reopen your terminal or write this command source tilde bash profile, and you see the text here. Now that we have installed Ruby on our system level, the only problem is that each time we create a new project, that system level Ruby version will be used, which is in our case 2.3.1. But what if we have another project which uses Ruby version 2.1.1 or any other version? Well, no need to worry about it. We have Ruby version manager and Ruby RBENV in order to manage Ruby versions. Let's install RBENV. Sudo apt get install RBENV. Each time we use sudo, we'll have to enter password. RBENV RBENV comes with bunch of commands and we can check it using RBENV commands. Next step is to install Ruby build. Sudo apt-get install Ruby build. Ruby build is a command line utility that makes it easy to install virtually any version of Ruby from source. It is available as plugin for RBENV that provides the RBENV install commands. Now if we check RBENV commands, we see install and uninstall commands in the list. Now before we proceed further, I want you to follow the coming steps with me. What we're gonna do, we're gonna open bash profile and add this syntax here. Eval $, parentheses, RBENV init minus. Save this file. Now why we have done this? Each time you open your terminal, you will have your RBENV initialized. You won't have to do it manually. Let's reconfigure our bash profile and we have RBENV configured in this directory. Let's install Ruby with RBENV. RBENV install -- list. You see complete list of all the versions of Ruby. We have RBX version, we have JRuby, we have Ruby versions with only numbers, and we have patch versions. Now what we'll do, we'll install Ruby version 2.2.3, which is stable release. RBENV install 2.2.3. It will take some time. Now write RBENV versions. We have two versions installed in our system. One is named system, which is 2.3.1 version, which we have installed primarily, and second is 2.2.3, which we have just installed. Now let us check the Ruby version. You see it is currently showing 2.2.3. Let us change the Ruby version. RBENV global system, press enter. Now you see the version is 2.3.1. Oops, we have incompleted statement here. Now it's fine. We have installed RBENV and also Ruby with RBENV. Next thing we have is Ruby library manager and it is called Ruby gem. Type gemv in order to check gem version. Here it is. Don't worry if your version is different than mine. You have a long list of gems that gets installed when we installed Ruby. Gem list. Your list can be different than mine. You can also update your gem with command update system. And we have our gem updated. Our next step is to install Rails, and before we proceed, let us check the Ruby version and gem list. This list will get bigger after upcoming steps. Now gem install Rails -- version 5.0.0. No RI with no RDocs. I don't want these dependencies to be installed, so that is why I'm skipping these dependencies. And we have some error. Oops, Now Rail is getting installed and all other dependencies with it are also getting installed. Gem list, enter, and now we see we have Rails 5.0.0 installed with all other dependencies. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna install MySQL gem. Let's clear our screen. Purpose of installing this gem is that your application needs to communicate with database. Since I'm using MySQL, so we need to have its library or gem pre-configured it already. Gem install MySQL2, enter. And now you see we have MySQL2 installed. I'm using Apache server, and in order to tell our application to communicate with this server, we'll need a gem. We have many server gems out there like Fabric, Puma, Thin. In this video, we'll use Puma. Let's install it. We have our Puma installed now. Let's clear the screen, clear our screen. My current directory is my user profile folder, and RBENV is configured with this folder. What I'll do is I'll change my directory to desktop. Each time I change my directory, I'll have to run a command rbenvd hash. This command will reconfigure Ruby environment with this directory. Let's run our command rails new hello world -d mysql. -d will tell to the Rails application to use MySQL. Application is installing now and it might take some time. Our Rails application is installed now. Let me open it in Sublime for you. And we have Rails application folder, we have gem file, gem log file. Let's open database.yml file. These are the configuration that Rails application will use for MySQL. Let's change password to root. Let's make our local Ruby version to 2.3.1. Well, I haven't installed version 2.3.1 using RBENV. Let's set it Ruby 2.3 or 2.3. Now you see I have this 2.2.3 set up locally only for this project. Let's open MySQL and create database for our newly set up project. Create database. Create database hello world development. Create database hello world test. Oops. Now let's start our application using Rails server. It's telling us that it couldn't find a gem responsible for JavaScript. Most of the time Ruby Racer is the one which is responsible for this type of error. Let's go to the gem file and uncomment Ruby Racer. Save the file and run the command bundle install. I'm using this command because I've recently added a new gem, the Ruby Racer. So I'll have to, each time I add a bundle, I have to run this command bundle install. See it's installing Ruby Racer and its dependencies. Ruby Racer is now installed. Let's run our server now. Rails server. You see it's using Puma gem and our dummy website is now deployed on this address. Let's open this link. Alright, you have successfully set up your Rails application. You can see it's showing us the version of Rails and Ruby. On our terminal, it is showing the log against the request that we have just made on the home page. You can also run console for this application, which can be used for debugging purpose during our development. Let me just show you a quick demo. And yes, we are good to go. Now that you have learned how to set up your Rails application, I highly encourage you to practice. Thanks for watching.